Two, two. Hey, Fran,
Hey Carlo.
what are you doing right now?
I'm talking to this guy.
Okay. Would you like to do a completely kind of unnecessary OCR adjacent YouTube show with me?
Oh my God, absolutely. There's definitely not enough people talking about OCR.
No, right? Especially just two white people hanging out like
To
with microphones.
middle-aged, very average
Middle-aged,
white
yeah.
people.
There's like that's a market we could probably corner.
We probably could. I think people definitely want to know our opinion on something we don't do very
Yeah.
well.
Here's what we could do. We could do like community news and updates.
Uh-huh.
We could do like race results from the previous weekend.
Love
We could
that.
do like, hey, heads up, by the way, this race is coming up this weekend.
Sweet.
Um, and whatever else. We could do anything else that we have the power. What do
We
you say?
have power.
Bum, 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 bum. Was that the right one? I think
I think so. I think so.
no. The power was by the band Snap. Anyway, okay. Great
Okay,
start. Great start.
I'd love
Hi,
to.
my name is Carlo. She can
My
speak for
name's
herself.
Fran.
Yeah, Fran. So, we're here to give you a little updates on what's going on in not so much the OCR world, but some of the OCR world, but also the things in the orbit
A very
on the
small slice of the OCR world.
yes, because we too are just small slices. Are we not? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I've got my coffee because I just got up.
I got
Fran,
my tea because I'm English.
she's about to go to bed. We are 2,000 light years away.
You are on the west coast of the USA, and I am the north of England.
Very north, by the way. I looked
Hmm.
I did not realize when I was like, oh, maybe I'll go to Europe's toughest mudder.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'll just fly into London. How far can it be? Oh, 5 hours.
Mhm. It's still light, and it's 5 to 10 in the evening.
That's cool.
It is cool.
You're the upper hemisphere.
Yeah, like I had this conversation with Ian Hosick actually on the podcast, so apologies to
I
anyone
love
listening to
Ian
this.
Hosick, by the way.
Love him. And we were talking about how high I am, and it's somewhere in Canada, like it's middle of Canada.
Yeah. That's Vancouver was kind of the same way when I went to do the Tough Mudder in Whistler a few years ago. But
Hmm.
by the way, I saw Ian Hosick was on a show recently, and the host was like, "What's it like being one of the like people one of the guys in the community that rubs people the wrong way?" And I was like, Ian Hosick has never rubbed me the wrong way ever.
No,
Like he just has
you
opinions, and I
wish.
love it. Anyway, let's start there. So when I say community, I basically
I say
I
news.
I'm part of the World Toughest Mudder community right on Facebook, and I like to peruse through there, and sometimes I contribute. It hasn't been in a long time. I used to actually have a little YouTube show called Piss and Cox.
Never heard
It
of
was
that.
a buddy of mine and I, Josh Cox, who had this little fun. We had a good run, 3-4 years doing weekly shows. Um,
We've had five
that,
minutes.
by the way, if you're expecting that from this, like I'm the same. My partner is considerably different, which is okay, right? Everybody, we all have our differences. Do you know that song?
I I didn't actually, no offense, I love you, but I never
No,
watched any of that. So
I think it
when
was
you talk
yeah.
about it, I don't actually know what you're talking about. So when you're like, it's not going to be the same, I'm like, it could be, it could not be. I don't know because I don't know what it
Honestly, the
was.
the, the people, the folks that were really into that, like it's the community changes every few years. It seems there's
Mm,
kind of like and plus post COVID, things kind of got flushed and brought back. So
mm.
anyway,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's still gonna be fun. I'm having a good time. You having a good time?
I'm having a good time. I always have a good time with you.
That's kind of exactly. That's what I'm
Mm.
saying. 5 people can watch this, and I'll be like, that's five more than zero.
Yay,
And three of them
endorsements.
are going to be me trying to see like how did it turn out. So it's perfect. So what I've learned, and I wish I could have been there, and I just what didn't work out this year. The big news in the world's toughest mudder community this week was that toughest mudder East was last weekend.
Mm.
That's the 12-hour 8 p.m.
Philly.
to 8 a.m. It's like the tough mudder, the world's toughest mudder half, as I like to call it,
Tough.
because it's
World's toughest mud is light.
yeah, exactly. And that was out in Pennsylvania. I always say it's out in Philly. It's called toughest mudder Philly, but it's
Yeah, I only
not.
know it's Philly just from seeing
It's
people
like
talk
it's
about
like
it.
an hour and a half, 2 hours outside of Philly, which as long as it's not like professional sports, then I don't, that's not my favorite part of the country when it comes to that, but who cares? Nobody cares. Um here's what I've learned. It was really cold.
Mm.
And evidently the Arctic enema that they had there was like
Arctic.
unreasonably, which I don't think unreasonably. Can you really be too cold if it's called Arctic enema? But it was like full, full of ice. And I haven't really seen a lot of audio or video about it, which is unfortunate because I'd love to see it. But a lot of feedback on like, holy crap, that was that was the coldest, toughest I've ever done, and by far the worst Arctic Enema I've ever been through.
Was it the toughest?
That's a great question. I wasn't there.
Oh my God, I made the funniest meme like 2 years ago, which I should send it to you so you can put on screen. And it's
Okay.
it's the three Spider-Mans, and they're
Yep.
pointing at each other.
Yes.
And one of them is saying toughest, another's saying world's, and then another one is saying world's toughest.
It's a thing, right? I learned
Yeah.
that at that's a great meme, by the way. I learned
Thank
that
you.
at
I'm really proud of it because I'm not very funny, but sometimes I'm really
you're
funny.
very funny, by the way.
Good.
I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's very you come across
Thanks,
very funny
Barbie.
sometimes. I haven't seen that, but it's okay. No, at OCRWC last year, I learned you have to say world's toughest mudder to especially the Europeans, because if you said
Toughest.
I'm going to Worlds, they'd be like,
That's
oh,
OCRWC.
they're talking about yes. So it's
And if you
completely
say
different.
toughest, you're going to toughest in Europe.
Right.
So it's got to be WTM.
Toughest, that's the Mr. Mouse toughest, right?
No.
That's tough guy.
Toughest
That's
is
tough guy.
That's tough guy no longer exists. Did I ever tell you I did tough guy?
You did not tell me that.
Oh my God,
I probably would have assumed because you were from that area and they had the race.
There's a race brand, an incredibly good race brand called Toughest. So yeah,
yes.
but anyway, we'll
I am familiar. I had tough guy in my head and I was like, oh.
It's funny. Well, so I did a silly thing last week. And
Go on.
now I'm a little bit worried about it. So last year at World's Toughest Mudder, at some point in the middle of the night, chatting with Giles, and he was like, Fran, how can you stand here and talk about World's Toughest Mudder for like 27 hours having never done a tough mudder? And I was like, well, Giles, because I can talk for a very, very, very long time. And it doesn't really matter what the subject is. I can keep going. And he was like, but shouldn't you really, experience a tough mudder, especially an endurance tough mudder, before next year? And with it being kind of middle of the night and I got all excited, I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Gotcha.
So I signed up for Infinity, which is June 17th in Scotland. And I was like, cool. And in order to do it, I had to miss a weekend of school because I do school 1 weekend a month.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that. And then the last weekend I was at school, I was like, I'm not fine with that. I really don't want to miss that weekend of school. What are my options? So I looked at the other options for Infinity this year. And the next one is in July. And I think I'm working that weekend. Like I'm booked to work. It's not official, but I'm booked to work. And then after that, the next one would be October. Now, the problem with October is it's very local. So it's near my house, which is super cool, but it's going to be very, very cold. And also October, we've got OCWC 1 weekend, Croatia the weekend after, then I would have to do Infinity, then I'd have like 1 weekend off, which would be my birthday. No, and then no, I would maybe have 1 weekend off, and then there would be Trifecta weekend, which I think
I gotta be honest, there's so much more to the story than I expected when you said you had something to tell me.
When I said I can talk for a long time, I'm explaining my theory. So,
I know.
So then there's Trifecta weekend, also next event, and then there's World Toughest Mudder. I was like, I don't think I can do that. So my only other option was to sign up for Europe's Toughest Mudder in July in Yorkshire. So I did.
Let's go. I know.
I'm doing Europe's Toughest Mudder, baby.
The hardest part of the whole story was I knew what you were going to say, but I didn't want to screw up your ramp up. I was like, okay, get to the part where you're doing Europe's Toughest Mudder. Get to the part where you're doing Europe's Toughest.
I really regret that now after seeing Philly, and I'm like, oh. And also, I've been kind of like, I've been careful with my diet lately. Like, I got a bit lazy, so I'm trying to just cut back a little bit and lose a bit of timber. And then I was like, holy macaroni, I need fat. I am not fast. I'm going to be walking. I
kind of am fat right now, to be honest. So it's good.
I need it. So now I'm like, oh no.
Oh, and I don't? What? What's that?
Well,
it's 82 degrees Fahrenheit outside today. I'll lose it. It's okay. Continue.
Anyway, so I'm dreading it, but
I'm excited, and I'm trying. I started looking at flights because I would love to make it out there. I believe I think Jack Goris is supposed to hopefully make it out.
Speaking of Jack Goris.
Oh, I didn't even mention one of the other segments of this show. Maybe we'll do it now.
We'll see.
Well, if we do it now, that means that my editing skills have evolved. So if I suddenly cut to Jack giving you the worldwide weather update, then you know that I successfully have learned one thing about editing.
Take it away, Jack.
Hello, world. Me again, or me first time. I'm reporting from Kharkiv, Ukraine. The weather here is about what you expect in May. Now let's talk about upcoming weather for events. We have Big Bear coming up, so let's talk about the weather. It's 64 degrees in Toledo, Ohio, so not great. Um, with the European metric system, that's about 4 gallons. For the DECA Austin coming up in June, no need to worry about the weather there because it's all indoors. So,
I successfully have learned one thing about editing.
Take it away, Jack.
And if you just watch me pause my face and nothing showed up, that's because I haven't gotten too good at editing yet. But whatever, this is a fluid thing. Episode 1 of who knows?
Infinity.
Yes. So, a few takeaways. First off, I'm really excited about you doing your Step Mutter, and there's my camera. And I'm going to hopefully be out there too, and probably more from a media standpoint, just because Giles, by the way, has been after me for a few years to come out
We're
and
all
enjoy that
after you.
race.
We're all
So I reached out
after
to
you.
him like, "Hey, buddy, see you at your Step Mutter," and he's like, "Oh, I'll actually be on holiday with the family in some faraway land." And I was like, "Well, that's literally like a percentage of why I wanted to go, because to be on Giles' homeland." Anyway, other takeaways from that I got. So I wanted to shout out some people because I thought it was kind of cool. This guy, Jesse Steve. That's 2 complete first names. That's someone's full name, Jesse Steve. Anyway, Jesse Steve had a really long post. I didn't have time to type it out because I kind of wanted to go through it. But anyway, had a really great post just about the race and the community. A lot of people posting their like race, like, here's what happened to me.
I've seen a few
Which
because
sometimes,
I just joined one of the groups and it's a really
oh,
good
nice.
group.
And sometimes those are great. And then sometimes people will be like, lap 1. Oof, what a ride. And I'm like, lap 1? Hold on. Anyway, Glenn Kunkel, he's in the community. He turned
He just
42
celebrated
years
his
old.
42nd birthday. Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Glenn,
you saw
people
that.
are
Look at
paying
that. Yeah,
attention to you.
while on course, he celebrated his 42nd birthday. So
And he posted a very
yes.
sweet picture of him looking all snoozy.
Yeah, didn't he? See, I saw that. And then
Yeah.
I wanted to read this one little thing because I think it kind of like encapsulates the spirit of the race. There's a guy named Rob Jenkins, and he made, do you know Rob Jenkins? Not Leroy Jenkins, somebody totally different.
Is he the guy that I nearly missed my flight from Atlanta to Pensacola with for 2022? Is he English?
You know, I have no chance of knowing that.
He might be, or it
That's-
might just be a name I recognize.
That's in your little squirrel cage, my friend, not mine. I don't no idea. But I'll tag him in the, if I figure out how to post this, I'll tag him in the thing. By the way, the plan was to make this about a 20, 22-minute show. Today's going to be a little over. We can start
That's
from
an
here and just
introduction, isn't it?
pare our way down. So what Rob said, Rob made a post, and I'll read it really quick because it's like one paragraph. He says, always enjoy the Philly event and the camaraderie on course, especially noticeable for me this year. Came into the event dealing with knee issues. I hear that, buddy. Hoping I would be able to hit 15 to 20 miles. How many kilometers is that, Fran?
5 kilometers is 3 miles.
That's
so
correct.
3 into 20 goes, well, 7. So 7 times 5 is 35. So like 34 kilometers.
That's what I was thinking. Excellent. Okay. After lap 1.
Wow, first math, Fran. You're really smart. I appreciate you.
After lap 1, knew that it wasn't in the realm
Hey,
of
Siri,
possibility.
what does it
Took
feel
more than
like to be
3
loved?
hours to hobble through the second. 3 hours to hobble through the second lap. So appreciative of all the folks who stopped to see if I was all right, to throw supportive words my way, and to assist when needed in obstacles. One of the things I
When
continue
needed,
to
that's
love
cute.
about Tough Mudder is the kind of family feel that you really don't see at other events. Congrats
like
to
that.
all the participants. So there we go. That's my guy, Rob Jenkins. Anka Friedrich. Friedrich, do you know Anka?
I know the name.
Anka is German, and she goes to a lot of it. She's always at Worlds. This year she was one of the folks that sat at the bottom of Everest and volunteer
Okay,
giving
yeah.
people a hop up. So she's always awesome. Dude, that girl spends more time in the States, I think, than she does in Germany. And she's like a surgeon, or she's definitely like a doctor, like a either a GP but I think she's like a surgeon. But it's crazy. And she loves going to Vegas. I know that. She's a big fan of
love
Thunder Down
Vegas.
Under. Thunder
love
Down Under
Vegas.
actually is her big thing.
I don't
And
know
I'm
what
not even
Thunder
kidding.
Down
She's
Under
like,
is.
she is loud and proud about it. And I'm like,
I
get
don't know
yours,
what
girl.
Thunder Down Under is.
I believe, because I've never been myself. Actually, I shouldn't be believed. She posts pictures all the time. It's the hulking. It's like the Chippendales, but Aussies. And they and they don't like eat salt for like 4 days, so they're all like, right?
Mm.
Isn't all you just don't eat salt for 4 days and suddenly you're ripped?
I think it's you don't have.
I think I learned that from Magic Mike. Didn't they say that in Magic Mike? Like you don't eat a lot of salt.
I've not watched it actually.
Neither I, but I like Matthew McConaughey. Who was the big that was Channing Tatum, right? That was Channing Tatum was the resident hot guy in that movie.
I think so, yeah.
Good for him. Good for him.
Imagine
So
being
that
the
was my
resident hot guy.
that was my community news update. I don't know if you know this, but there was a couple of pretty big races. Not just Toughest Mudder East, but there was also some pretty big Spartan race this weekend down in Big Bear, California. I really need my readers. That's how old I am.
So I do this thing with OCRWC called the World Obstacle Rankings, and we rank monthly.
The WOR. I was thinking like rankings, like wrangling. WOR.
Yeah.
World Obstacle Rankings. Bum bum bum.
And
if I had a logo, it would go.
Yeah, we should get one.
Another thing I gotta try to do. Okay, cool.
And it's getting really tough because there are so many events happening. And my list of athletes, so like what happens is the athletes who have kind of podiumed at races all get listed out, and then they get ranked depending on like if you've podiumed at 3, then that weighs well for you, or if it was a particular competitive race. But there's a lot behind it, but it's getting really tough because there's so many events going on, and people are kind of like, "Oh, OCR is dead," and it's like, well, it's not, because Carlo and Fran just stepped into the ring.
Here we are talking about. Oh, by the way, that's great. And speaking of, like, here's the deal: are we going to give race results from every race in the world last weekend? No, we're not. We only have so much time. Are we going to give race results to the race that you were at? No. Probably not, unless you were at like the Spartan in Big Bear or Toughest Mudder East or whichever Euro races you are going to talk on.
Or something that particularly piqued my interest.
Do we know every athlete on the planet? No. Do we know how to pronounce their names?
Absolutely not.
All the time? No. If your name is Hawk Call, pretty good chance I'm going to pronounce your name right. We'll see.
Probably not, because I'll say Hawk Call.
Why'd you just screw it up like that? That was horrible. That's not how you say it at all. Where are you from? So, I want to start. The Spartan U.S. National Series was at Big Bear Lake in the mountains of Southern California. I don't know if that's the Los Padres National Forest, but it sounds cool to say. So let's pretend it was there. How about that? Yeah, there you go. What's that girl's name? Jolene. Not the song from Dolly Parton, or who just redid it? Beyonce just redid that song, right?
No, she did it. I don't know. Maybe she did. I don't.
Yeah, she has the country album. Was #1 on the country charts. Anyway, as you can tell, she's having a much better week than say someone like Puff Daddy or whatever the guy's name is. But I'm not kidding. He's having a bad week.
Who did he?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Are you following all that? Let's not get into that. But
no
video is bad. He is not. No,
is he a bad man?
You would be particularly disturbed by some of the stuff that came in. Yeah.
Bad P Diddy. Bad.
Very bad. You know what? I don't even worry about my Jolene thing because that's such a tangent. And I was getting into like Travis Pastrana and Nitro Circus and all this other stuff. Right? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
So American.
Spartan U.S. National Series, the Big Bear Super. I'm going to start with the women. First place overall for the women, Anna Doobie. Is it pronounced Doobie? Annie Doobie. That's such a great
good girl.
It sounds like I'm saying it wrong. That's right, but I'm not. Rose Wetzel came in second. By the way, Rose Wetzel, in all of OCR, my favorite abdominal muscles in OCR.
And she's had a baby.
Rose Wetzel and Ryan Atkins are like, they could just like, if their abs had a baby, it would be like.
You know what I'm going to say here, don't you?
A giant ab baby. You don't like Ryan Atkins' abs?
Well.
He has like abs where you shouldn't even have abs. Like, I'm like, why are there abs in your pecs?
No, but there are more abs that I'm obviously going to mention.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, Leon wins the abs.
But Leon, I can't get past his face. It's so gorgeous.
It is lovely.
Although that's actually a good segue because there's somebody in the men's rankings who I think also to me.
Wait, you didn't do third women.
I'm getting there. Yes, Casey Monroe.
Casey Monroe
Finished third for the women. So
very cool name.
Now, where are they in all of the large Big Bear U.S. National Series standings. I don't know. I didn't look
I
it
don't
up.
know, but I know they're all excellent athletes, so probably
They
her.
are. And I just love when Rose Wetzel is on the podium because she's one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet.
I did a podcast with her, and I've got to say, I adore her voice. Now, she's a sweetheart,
Yes.
and like she had nice things to say, but her voice is just like she could read me bedtime stories.
Yes. I interviewed her many, many years ago. I don't even remember who it was for. It was before the OCR report existed.
Imagine.
Anyway, but and it never made it. It never went anywhere. I had it, and then I forget what happened. So for the men, the aforementioned Hawk Call was your winner of the U.S. National Series Big Bear Super. The man I wanted to bring up next, since we were talking about abs and good looking, and I believe this man's in his 40s and has a couple like growing children. Go ahead, say his name. Say his name.
Manuel Dufault.
Such a nice. He's Swiss, right? I believe.
Love him. He's Swiss. Yeah.
Yes, I got to meet him at OCRWC. He sat at our table.
Love, love, love.
He didn't want any chicken wings, which that makes sense. That's why he's 40 something and has
He's like 44. Maybe he must be 45.
Yeah, and he's and he's crushing. I love it. I love it.
He travels to the States all the time for races.
Yeah, I don't even know what he does. Like, I know he's a coach. Lion Will coaching, right? Yes. So, and then Balin, I'm going to say it, Balin Bean was third place for the men. Do you know Balin?
Not someone that I'm familiar with, actually.
Spelled Beylen. Oh. I believe I'm calling it Balin. So good job, Balin.
Yeah, I hear that. It's good podiums.
They didn't just have a super at Big Bear. They also had the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got people who won that too.
Have we?
We're going to go men this time. Juan Roca took first place. ROCHA. Not to be confused with Almond Roca, which is a delicious candy. I don't know if you guys have that in the UK. Orlando Lopez, second place. Omar Padilla was in third place. I'm glad I'm showing you what the places are. So you can be like, what place is it? I don't know what first place means. I go, this one. And for the women,
Father?
It's going to be Chloe Malikian. Yep. You know Chloe?
You know the name?
I mean, not personal. Yes.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? Oh, there you go. Rachel Munoz was in second. And Anais Haddad.
Sweet name.
So I was so confused. I was not confused. I was afraid of mispronouncing her name. So
Listen,
I looked
I'm going to mispronounce just about every single name because a lot of these are not English. So
yeah, when I saw the results from some of the Euro races, I was like, Fran's got those. She's from that continent, kind of. What is England considered its own little
continent?
No, it's not a continent.
No, so England is part of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. But England is, oh God, we'll not get into that. We don't have time for that, babe.
Let's not do that. Oh, but I need to do the Tough Mudder East. We'll blow through these really fast.
Yeah. So let's,
because there's something worth noting in the team competition. I don't want to skip because it's a great accomplishment. So why do I take these off? I actually need them.
Why? I can't see
what is wrong with me? Toughest Mudder East, the men's podium. In the States, we'd call him John Herb. You'd call him John Herb. Because there's an actual H in it and you should pronounce it. Eddie Izzard has a great bit about that.
So I don't want to interrupt you, and I know we want to blast through these. It is so difficult as a European coming to the States and reading names.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are European names that have been Americanized, and they don't make any sense to me anymore.
They shouldn't, because we screw it up all the time.
Psychos will always be the one that sticks to mind.
That doesn't make sense to us either.
Okay, good.
That one in particular, you're like, I could say that 4 different ways. I just happen to know what it is because he's been on so many podiums. You just go like, oh, that's how you say it. And then you just keep repeating it.
Okay.
But if someone saw it and they went, Shizos, I go, yep, that's exactly how you say it. That's how his great-grandparents wanted it to be said.
Okay, carry on.
I wonder what that was shortened from. Anyway, so John Herb or Herb, first place, 50 miles. Second place, also with 50 miles. Joseph Rucco or Rucco. We'll let him pronounce it however he wants.
I say Rucco, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And Mike, so all 3 men had 50 miles. Third place, Mike Strobel. Nice job, Mike. Nice. Women. First place, 40 miles. Marissa Theophanitis. Marissa is her name. Did I say it doesn't matter. Jill Sargent, who I know that name for sure. Second place, 35 miles. Third place, Jennifer Fisher, also 35 miles. Now, there's also the team aspect, right? The team relay that they have at toughest events. First place. Now I just have the team names. I didn't break it down and get all the members. But however, first place was literally their team name was 100 times podiums. So, and the important part of that is Evan Paparis, right, was part of that team. And that Evan's been an OCR since he probably like created the acronym OCR, I'm guessing, because he's been around so long.
Probably.
When he's not being like an Army Ranger Special Forces guy and like other, doing
Tough
whatever they do
human
in
stuff
other
things.
parts of the countries or worlds. That was his 100th podium. So I don't even know if I could count that high sometimes, especially
How
not
many
without
podiums
my
have you
coffee.
had, Carlo?
How many what?
Podiums have you had?
I have taken pictures of a lot of podiums for the OCR report. And that's, yes. Oh, nice try. 8th grade graduation tricycle race. First place, Carlo Piscatello. I have the ribbon still. It's in my memory box in the garage. So 1. The answer is 1. One podium. Oh, yeah. OCR podium. We don't have time. Second place was, I believe it's an abbreviation, Cleveland OCR. So Evan's team, the 100-time podiums, 55 miles. Cleveland OCR, second place, 50 miles. Third place, the boys with a Z, had 45 miles. And those were some of the races that happened in the United States last weekend.
All right. I'm going to absolutely blast through these results because people are getting really bored now. And I'm sorry, guys.
I'm not sorry at all. I'm having a great time.
So,
See?
So those 2 races that you mentioned were, and I'm always going to plug OCRWC qualifiers. So congratulations to everyone.
Qualifiers, clang, clang, clang,
qualified,
clang,
bro.
clang, clang,
This
clang, clang.
race coming up is a new qualifier for 2024. It's called X Warrior. It's being held both in Switzerland and in Italy, and it looks amazing. We keep sharing the stories and whatnot on Instagram.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good. So this was X Warrior, X Trail, X Light.
Where was it? Oh, sorry, I just cut you off. I was going to say, where was it? But you were about to say where it was.
Molveno, Italy.
Oh, I have not been.
So, men's podium. In first place was David Blankenberg.
Oh.
In second place was Tomas Bragagna. And in third place was Lucas Kobel for the men.
Oh.
And for the women, we had Denise Sotovia. Second was Katerina Hohol. I hope I got that right. And third place, Francesca Scipiletti.
I got to be honest, with your accent, even if you're saying it wrong, it just sounds correct.
I know.
I'm over here going like Padula, Padina, Padula. So, yeah, exactly. Continue.
Okay, we also had 2 big Spartan races happening. One was the Southern Championship Series, the Bled Beast for the men. In first place was Andrea Riva. Second, Jeremy Gachet. And third place was Peter Seniga.
Love it.
And for the women, we had Amanda Schneider. Second
Lovely.
place was Karen McQuarrie. And in third place was Jelena Janezi. And that was in Bled, Slovenia. And then I've got one more race, and then I've got a fun race to talk to you about.
Okay.
This was another Spartan. This was the Czech Spartan National Series, Spartan Super. There's no vowel in the middle of this word. It's Burt-R-N-R, like Bruno, but without a U. So I apologize for getting that wrong. Let's start with the women.
Okay.
In first place, the mighty Esther Hortobagiova.
That's her official title.
Yeah. Second place, Susanna Kokumova. And third place, Adela Machekova. And then for the men, in first place, Pavel Hrdina. Second place, Jakub Kolar. And third place, Jakub Havjarek. So, actually, all of those races had massive names in them. And I think this is very good to bring attention to European racing. Now, there's one last race that I want to talk about. And then I'll be done with the results. This was a race that was part of the UK OCR Endurance League, and it was race number 1, and it was called the Farmyard Jam. And the winners
Farm
were
Yard Jam.
Jam. It was a lapped race.
Oh, I
people
love
did
lap races.
laps. I think it was 24 hours. It was a 24-hour race
Yes.
of laps. The first place for the women was a lady called Emma Kirkwood, and she did 13 yards. So that's 13 laps, I'm guessing.
13 laps. Okay.
Second was Heather Ratcliffe, 12 yards. And third was Jane Campbell, and she did 9 yards.
Are you saying yards?
I'm saying yards.
Spell
Yards. I'm saying yards.
that. Oh, okay.
I'm saying it
Because
slightly
in the
Bostonian.
state, a yard is 3 feet,
I know, but I think because it's farmyard.
and there's
jam,
3.281 feet to a meter.
It's a farmyard jam.
Got it.
So
I know. I understood. I just was. So they called a loop a yard, which we covered like 5 minutes ago. Just make I'm on page. I'm on the same. I'm with you, girl. I'm with.
And in the men's first place was Dazza Scarnella, and he did 24 yards. So he was doing a yard an hour.
Whoa, that's a lot of yards.
It's a lot of yards. He recently just did the London Marathon and got a ridiculous time, 2-something.
2-something?
2-something. I can
Was
find
he
that
like on a
result.
powered vehicle?
No, legs. Second
Wow, good
place
for
was
him.
Russell Walsh, who also got 24 yards, and third place Kevin Dent, who also got 24 yards.
Do we know
So
how
well done
long
to
a
everybody.
loop is? A yard is? That's really
I
impressive.
actually don't know.
It's okay.
I'm not going to find his profile
doesn't
to
ruin
tell you
the
about his
thing, I'm
marathon
just-
results. But anyway, they're the results that I wanted to talk to you about from UK and Europe. Boop, 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 boop.
So it is at this point of the show where the plan is like, and now let me tell you about events coming up this coming weekend. I'm sure there's some in the US. I'm sure there's some in the rest of the world, because oddly enough, the world does not revolve around the US, although we like to think it does.
You kidding?
I forgot to look. So I'm sure there are races. Do you have any European races that you know
Yeah,
of?
I'm just looking at my list. So my information is drawn from the list of OCRWC qualifiers,
Oh,
which
you know what? I just
stupidly doesn't list Spartan races and Tough Mudder because there's so many
What?
of them.
Really?
However, let's have a quick look. What date are we currently on? We're on the 21st. I've written that down about 12 times today.
All right.
So the 25th of May, there is
Yes.
a Poseidon race in Spain. The 25th of May is Frontline
Ow.
OCR in the USA. And the 26th of May is, can't pronounce
Yes.
this, Tvrdak race in Slovakia. And they are all OCRWC qualifiers. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Nice. So this weekend is the 26th, right? Is that what you said? 25th, 26th?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So of course I could check the OCR schedule on the OCR Reports Instagram page. Turns out that's pretty handy.
Wow.
There's the Mud Girl Charlotte in North Carolina this
I've seen
weekend on the
adverts for
25th.
that.
What?
I've seen a lot of adverts for that.
Yeah.
Mm.
You said, there's a Frontline OCR in
Mhm.
Byron, Illinois.
Mhm.
There's the Mud Girl race in Quebec. Go Nordiques. Just kidding. They don't exist anymore. They're now the Colorado Avalanche. That's hockey. And the Muddy Princess, Maryland. Those are the
So
US
lots
races.
of female-focused races.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that.
Do you remember Mutterella? Tough Mudder used to have a female marketed race called Mutterella. It's
I
purple.
remember word of it, yeah.
I used to volunteer at those. It was really fun. Didn't last more than a couple years, but
Worth a try.
I enjoyed it because if you volunteered, you still got the cool like $20 Tough Mudder ticket if you volunteered for a full day. So that was a good. By the way, if anyone does want to do Tough Mudders, I'm telling you that's one of the ways to do it if you want to save some few bucks.
Mm.
If you volunteer a half day, you get to run a Tough Mudder for $40. This is just not even an advertisement, just something that I used to love to do. And so a 6 hour shift as a volunteer gets you a $40 Tough Mudder ticket. A 12-hour shift as a volunteer gets you a $20 Tough Mudder ticket. Saves you over $100.
I mean, I think now, well, Spartan, obviously, you can volunteer and you get race entries. And also OCRWC, we've not opened volunteers yet. But when you do, you get race entries. I think you perhaps can use it for Spartan, but don't quote me on that. I don't know. Maybe they did last year. I'm never involved with volunteers. Or maybe merch or something. I don't know. But you get free stuff and it's cool.
We used to do it all the time. When I first started doing Tough Mudders, like 2011, 2012, we'd go up we'd volunteer on a Saturday and then we'd race on a Sunday because it was never quite as crowded on Sunday. So you just boop. Anyway, that was fun.
Moving swiftly.
And I like to end the show with just some interesting question that I find that I think it's fun to like pump you for information. So this is actually okay. Yeah, there's no reason to go into that. Here's a question. What is something that isn't edible that you wish it was?
Yellow acrylic paint.
Wow.
Tires. No, yellow acrylic paint.
That was like you didn't even do you want to think about it? Like
No.
the whole part of this bit was supposed to last longer than that.
Cement. Cement. Mm.
Cement?
Oh, cement.
Okay.
Mm.
Now it could also be like even maybe it's something that you could eat but you shouldn't. Like in my I was thinking grass. Like should I eat grass? No. But would I like to? What? And there's an abundance of it, right? Dandelions. I'd like to eat dandelions.
Make honey from dandelions. Honey.
Really? Okay. So you have a much better answer than anything I can even come up. You were so that was so like I didn't even get the question out, and you were just like
Sorry.
yellow acrylic paint.
That
And
I
I'm
know
like,
how it feels like to be Dustin because I just finished his sentences for him.
now, are you supposed to eat? You guys had Play-Doh over there, right?
Yeah, it smells good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tastes good. Should I have eaten it as a kid? No,
No.
but it's good. Dog treats. I wish they tasted better. I ate a lot of
They
those.
smell good, but no.
I ate a lot of. They do. Oh my gosh, the little pill pockets that I do for my dog's medication. They're like smoky flavored, and I'm like, I bet these don't taste anything like this. And she's like, whatever, put them in my mouth, bro. Anyway. Well, I'm all out of things to talk about.
Okay, I've got one thing that I want to do, and you might have to cut whilst I find this because I messaged you during the week, and I was like, "Oh my god,
I might have to what?
I don't have signal down here because I just reset my iPhone." Okay, I'm gonna need you to do something because I can't Google anything on my phone, and if I play it on my computer, I don't know if you'll hear. I want you to Google. Now, I think this is the best bop of all time. There has never been a point where I have heard this song and have not immediately just been like, and been happy. Never have I skipped from listening to it. You want to look for the original Thomas the Tank Engine theme song here. And I promise, being a music guy, you are going to freaking thank me because it is amazing. And also, incidentally, it's a really good speed to walk to when you're doing pieces on camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Thomas the Tank Engine Adventure is here. Original theme and tune opening. There's probably gonna be an ad because it's YouTube. Hold on. This is captivating. What happened? Yeah, we're gonna have to edit some of this, right? That's good. Doom, doom, doodle, doo, doom, doo, doom. Where'd it go? I just had it.
This is what happens when you give an old man a technological task.
Here we go. All right. This is an ad because it's YouTube and it's 21st century and we can't not have ads. Oh, skip.
I'm so excited for this. Oh, I can't hear it. I can't hear it, and I was so excited.
You can't hear it? I can.
There's some.
Oh. Isn't that working?
No, move it further away. Okay, I'm gonna Google it.
What's funny is hang on. Stop. When I started playing it, the Zoom thing said, set up professional audio in audio settings. So maybe it muted it.
Okay, right. I'm gonna play it.
Does it automatically assume that No, see, it cut yours off too. It recognized that you I can't hear it at all. But I know the jam. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, it cuts me off. Man, Zoom really knows how to keep the copyright stuff knocked down. You know what? I don't even need when I learn how to edit, I'm gonna take this part and I'm just gonna put different music on, and it's gonna look like you're dancing to like Glockenspiel or someone like that. Is that a band, Glockenspiel? I know it's a wooded, like a xylophone instrument. What's great is all I can hear are the noises you're making and not the music at all. Well, thank you guys for, if you're still with us, and I don't know why you would be, thank you for tuning into what is supposed to be a weekly little gig that we do. My name is Carlo. Her name is Fran. She's clearly preoccupied with this banger of a jam that I can't hear.
Oh my God, that's the best.
So, Fran, say goodbye to everybody. Goodbye. Oh, I couldn't. Yeah, as soon as it starts playing, it cuts it off. Like that's why you could hear. I couldn't hear. You know what I'm saying?
I just, I love that song so much.
You could probably stop recording now, at least. How about that? And I'll go
Catch
back
me
to full
outside.
screen.
How about that?
How about that?